Yes, is that Melinda speaking?
It is. She's on Zoom.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Fantastic. Is everyone ready?
Yes,
Can we begin the meeting?
we are ready. And Craig is on speakerphone.
Very good. Okay, excellent. So call the meeting to order at 4:03 p.m. Before we dive into this, we do have to acknowledge that our secretary is not present at tonight's meeting, and so before we go any farther, we should determine who is going to be taking minutes for tonight's meeting.
I can do it, Melinda.
Excellent, thank you, Chris. Okay, then now that we've got that sorted out, let's jump to the roll call for the meeting. Craig Pepper?
I'm here.
She's here.
Present? Excellent. Dave Brennan?
Here.
Mark Tannenbaum?
Here.
I'm present. We know that Jeff is absent. Jason Mazurk?
Here.
Excellent, thank you. And Chris?
Here.
Thank you. So Jeff was kind enough to email to us all the minutes from the November 7th meeting.
Oh, no.
If you have not already reviewed those, take a minute.
I printed out the wrong agenda. Sorry.
That's okay. Thankfully, I have the correct one in front of me.
Good, good. I didn't notice that until I sat down here.
I do at least.
Sorry, I printed out the wrong agenda. Why I printed out August agenda, I'll have no idea, but we do have the correct minutes.
I wish it were August 1st.
As soon as someone
Weather-wise, yeah.
As soon as someone is ready, if one of our commissioners will be willing to make a motion to approve the minutes and or suggest corrections if there are corrections.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I would second that emotion.
Excellent. So we have a first and a second. Any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes as presented, please signify by aye.
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 Opposed? This is a lively bunch this evening. Oh my goodness. So then we move to the public comments period. Again, we limit those that are here to talk with us to 5 minutes. Do we still have Dr. Crenshaw
Yes.
present to speak with us?
Melinda, yes, he's here. I've extended their time to about 10 minutes. He's got a short presentation to make, including a video, so we're going to extend that to about 10 minutes.
Excellent, okay.
All right, Mr. Crenshaw? Do you have your flash drive?
Yeah, he
You
has
got
it.
it?
It's all
Okay.
set up. He'll just start it. It'll
Okay.
run through. It's about a 10-minute video.
Okay.
And I would like first that to run, everybody review it. Then I would like for my son to speak, and we can limit that to 5 if you want, which I'll outline and highlight some areas so that what the video doesn't cover. And then we have another speaker that will speak regarding the third phase of what we're talking about. Oh, yeah. Looks like we have a complete gut job. Look at it, it's like a level. Got a little moisture. Open up the windows. Water leak at top. The recently like
Everybody off the floor. Replace the ceiling. Replace the roof. That light coming in. Hanging is rotted. And well, we had a little bit of stuff we found in the garage. That was the old garage we tore down. Maybe we recycle some brick. I'm here at the second day of the house working. My crew leader, Ronald Rodriguez, owns his own company. He is actually in charge of making sure the roof gets done.
On the exterior of the house, you see Dean and Sean laying bricks.
Cheers.
Moving down to the basement, Fawn and Angel are paving the walls.
Good job. Come on, good job. Bring your leg down. Yep. All right, guys, I'm out. Now installing side of the sleeves. Take the bar and kick it in. Looking good. Putting the floor down. Hands at the end with a little short one. You guys stagger them all. Looking good. Ooh, cut it a little tight. Go from the other way. Just stick it under it and slide it back.
To support, to push it
Yeah,
like
enough.
that. Yeah, I just did all that. See the studs right here?
Mhm.
It's too much give. I just
Cut a little more. Alright.
You don't want an H joint, that's an H joint, you want a stagger. So you end up, I do cut 3 pieces, you got 3 different sizes for the start.
On the first level, Angel is grinding and sanding the floor. After the floor has been prepped, it is now time to lay the new flooring.
Okay, we have, that was a presentation, pretty much a full video of what took place in the house. Now what we're gonna have you do is, I'm gonna have Aaron speak a little bit, and we're gonna compare the next house in which we wanna work on. It's a PowerPoint, and we wanna compare the similarities between this particular house that we completed and the next house, which is 2708 Downing, which is a house that, as you can see, is very comparable to the house that we just renovated at 261 East 33rd. And we're gonna expeditiously go through it and just show some comparisons.
Like my father briefly went over, I'm Aaron Crenshaw, and this is a presentation showing how 2708 Downing could be a similar project to 261 East 33rd, the before and afters, which you guys seen a video of, so we'll go through quickly. This is 2708, which will be our next project that you guys could be a part of. This is a side view, and then this is a comparison of how 261 East 33rd and 2708 Downing and their similarities, which it's already been gutted down to the studs, where it's ready for drywall. 2708 Downing has the same floor plan where we want to go knock down the walls and have an open floor plan, because that's what's selling right now in the market. That's the new thing. And then 2708 Downing again, just showing how it's ready to be drywalled, a few walls taken down, and go on to the next step so it can ultimately look like 261 East 33rd. Again, that's the kitchen, not in good shape. It's all dilapidated and on its way out the door, which with the help of you guys, it could ultimately look like 261 East 33rd with the renovations of the flooring, drywall, new paint, countertops. It's a beautiful home now. Along with the bathroom, we all know that's where everyone likes to spend a lot of their money and as well as their time. The new countertops, new bathroom, surround tub, and all the ceilings and flooring that's honestly done for. Some people would say tear the house down because of the roof leaks and the flooring, but 2708 Downing looks very similar at this moment, which the video showed it can be fixed. New drywall, new trim, flooring, again, similar pictures, similar damage to the upstairs, just and then as well as this one, you can see if you just put a lot of time and effort with a few dollars put behind it, it can be a livable home. There goes to the basement, a lot of debris. It looks like a lot of people came and said, oh, what you guys are working on? You know, why aren't you tearing this house down? And these videos really show, and these clips and pictures show how we can take something that's worth nothing to some people and make it a house that's livable and obtainable for, I think is good for me. I don't think you guys would disagree. That's a house I'd like to live in. I don't see why anybody else would like to live in one of those houses either. We start with the electrical, as you can see, 2708 Downing. We already started with the electrical, put a whole new service in. 261 East 33rd, the service was older than me. Some of you guys even maybe with the old knob and tube. We replaced that. 2708 Downing, some of the walls need repaired, which you'll see how we did on 33rd. We dug up beside it, replaced the brick, made it livable and sturdy again. We even reused some of the brick that we demoed the garage with and reused that. And then as you can see, the basement's ready to live in. All new walls, painted flooring, hot water tank, new furnace, everything's up to date. Now you guys seen what we've done without you guys. Now just imagine what we can do with you guys. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it.
The next thing I would like to just share briefly, I'm going to have Brian Morgan come up, and I'm going to give you guys each a flyer. Part of what made this happen, as in that house that you saw is renovated, and we've renovated for others, but that's what we've been doing. Along Buffalo Road, there's 5 houses there. We're doing the same thing. They're going to come online. Fairmont Parkway, we have a unit that we actually renovated and sold. So as fast as we're fixing these up, they are going to be able to be sold. And what's going to be nice is if we can leverage, as we're looking at the historical dollars here, that low to moderate income people can get grants anywhere from $1 to $20,000. Whatever we give them just helps them to become homeowners. So imagine these houses that you just saw. That house on 33rd Street, that actually sold when we got done and completed for $150,000. That was not a low-income person that bought it. And as we fix this up, it'll be available for anyone that can afford it. But one of the things through the historical funds that I understand is going to be coming available to individuals to fix up the exterior, we can write these houses down by $15,000. Brian is the coordinator, and he'll be passing out just a flyer on the renovation and what we're doing as far as creating with youth and individuals in the city. We have a training program where we're literally taking individuals, and we've partnered with GCAC, MCIC, and others to be part of Bishop Brock. All the agencies, we're working with Martin Luther King Center, we're working with GCAC, anybody and everybody that wants to work with us so that they can help us to take our youth and give them an opportunity to go out and work with their hands. We're doing OJT, on-the-job training. We're working with Career Links. So if you look at that, I'm going to have Brian speak briefly on just the flyer that you have there, and he can go into some of the detail. Brian?
Thank you. Again, my name is Brian Morgan. I'm responsible for the training program that they just mentioned about some of the homes that we're currently renovating. And as Don just mentioned, along Buffalo Road, there's 5 homes right now. And with this training program, we're using those individuals who are in that program to actually renovate those homes. As you noticed in the video with East 33rd, that was the case there as well. Trainees were responsible for rehabbing that home, along with obviously minority business owners. So this is an opportunity for the community to come together under a project, and as he mentioned, getting the youth involved. Construction in general, it's an opportunity for those young people to find a trade. Some of them aren't interested necessarily in going to college for a 4-year degree, but this is an opportunity for them to get a sustainable wage and actually learn something. Some of the programs, if you look at the flyer here, some of the things that we have on the back, this is some of the things that they are actually taught. One of those things I really want to highlight is the OSHA 10 training. OSHA 10 training is something that any one of those individuals could take along and go to California. This is training that they would have for however long they decided to be involved in the construction trade.
It's federal.
Yes. So it's an opportunity for them to take these types of skills that they learn in this program anywhere that they go. So we have I can mention to you right now, we have a 19-year-old young man who's been in the program for the past 6 months. This young man, came in, didn't really have an opportunity to understand what he actually wanted to do. He found out about this program, and it's helped him in tremendous ways. Not only obviously from a standpoint of earning an income, a sustainable income, but he's also learning about being on time. Obviously, in the construction field, you need to be on time. You need to be responsible. He's learning skills that he's never ever had. One of the things he really was interested in doing is being able to use some of the heavy equipment. So if you look on the back there, that's one of our trainees, a young lady, matter of fact, who's in the who's actually running one of the equipment. The young man that I'm talking about in the second picture, he's fixing the garage. This is a 19-year-old, like I said, that came with no real understanding of anything of what he wanted to do, but this program was able to give him some direction, and again, like I said, an opportunity then to have an actual skill that he can take for him for a lifetime. So this is an opportunity, you know, for, like I said, for the city to get involved and for us to be able to continue the work that we're doing. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Melinda?
Excellent. Sorry, I wasn't sure if there was another presenter as part of their presentation. It's difficult to participate via Zoom, but we're really appreciative of the opportunity to learn more about the program. I don't have the brochure in front of me. What officially is the name of the training program?
Blue Rock.
Blue Rock is the
Blue Rock?
Blue Rock is the contractor that's actually doing the training, but it's a pre-apprenticeship training initiative. We are looking at a pre-apprentice because one of our goals is, as the individuals graduate from this level, they can go to any of the local trades and actually go in as an apprentice. And we're starting them out as the pre-apprentice at $15 an hour for those working on the OJT side. And we hope as they graduate, they can go into the local unions and they could be making, starting out, I think it's $18 an hour. And then every year, as they continue the work, their pay will increase. And the other goal is, as they get into the trades, we can make them homeowners. Because after you get into a home, and right now, our average 3-bedroom home is renting for $800 a month, where if you take a $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 mortgage, which some of these houses, if we get the grant funds, we renovate, those units will be, their mortgages will be like $400 or $500 a month. So the win-win of the pre-apprenticeship training initiative, PACTI, is a part of the overall training, the home ownership, the renovation and preservation of housing in the city of Erie. So when you combine it all, it's a multi-pronged concept, taking old dilapidated houses that may be on a blight list, that people would normally say take down. That first house, it was vacant 17 years, it was on a blight list, and I was told when we started, demo it, it's nothing there. An average house today, Downing Avenue, you saw, to just replace the lumber, my quote today is $42,000 just to put the walls and the flooring and the roof up. Framing only, no brick, no plumbing, no MEPs. So when you take a house and you tear it down, you're really throwing away $42,000 of lumber that you would take to start and build. So we've done it. I appreciate the Historical Society here and working with us to give us an opportunity to present it, but I would definitely want to be a part of us reaching out into our community, taking a dilapidated building, converting it into a fixed up, stay on the tax roll building and do job training, all at the same time creating home ownership. All righty? Go ahead.
Do you have time to answer a few more questions?
Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, awesome. So you're working primarily with youth. Do you specifically exclude adults, and or what age ranges are you working with? What do you qualify as youth?
Okay, the program is initially targeted for youth, but we don't discriminate against anyone. Male, female, 40, 50, if you want to come on hand and learn construction, and even at the age of 50, if you want to learn construction, or 60 or whatever, we will take that opportunity and help you to maybe have a second career. So the age limit, we'd like to target and focus on a lot of our youth, because that's an area where people my age, 60 and older, are retiring. But if somebody wants to go back into the construction, we do look at that. But the primary goal is to get our young individuals, our teenagers, women as well as males, into the construction trade. Because a lot of people my age are retiring out. So as this being that starter feeder for the industry, we hope that it grows into the local mechanical, electrical, plumbing operators, all those engineering union companies can reach out, as well as make entrepreneurs out of individuals that don't want to do the hands-on, but learn how to do the work, and they want to become entrepreneurs and start their own business.
About how many trainees do you have enrolled in the program currently?
Currently, at this particular time, we have 3 individuals that's been with us about 6 months. Prior to this project, I was the developer and builder for Parade Street Commons East, which was a net zero passive house project. And if you look, and the other thing that if you look at our crew, 80% of our crew are minorities. We built that project in 2019, 2020. We finished up, and we had from 5 to 20 different individuals that the majority, like I said, 80% of them were minorities, that we actually taught how to do construction. Now, COVID hit, and all of that really set us back, but we're starting back up, and right now we have 3. We just had a meeting recently where we're going to be working with CareerLink in more depth, that we hope to bring on individuals that are under 16 that we definitely give a chance to get a feel for, as well as under the OJT. Any individual wants to come and work with us, we open up the opportunity for them.
What's the length of time, like when trainees join you? I realize it's a pre-apprenticeship program, but what typically is the length of time for the training?
Well, when we originally started, we thought we could do everything in like 8 weeks, get the individuals in and just get them familiar with the industry enough to go into the next level. But we have individuals now that's been with us almost 6 months, and it just depends on how in depth the individual really gets into the training. For example, to go from a first-year apprentice to a journeyman in the local plumbers union, I think it's a 5-year course, but every year they learn. So we don't set a time period to say that you're in and out. We'd like to set it up to say that within a 6-month to a year basis, you can actually graduate to the next level. But we work with the individuals so that when they are ready, then we will present them with other opportunities. And if someone came in and they were able to accelerate, and they came in the first 8 weeks, they were very good with their hands, we're going to be reaching out to the local trades for interviews so that they come in and they can talk to these individuals and say, hey, you're really good at your math, you're really good at your hand, you may not need a 6-month class, you could do it in 8 weeks. But we're really letting the individuals sort of determine how long the project will go as far as before they're ready to move on.
Excellent, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Can I say something?
Sure.
Am I allowed?
Sure.
I watched that video presentation and I was blown away. I mean, you have to admit, that was like a miracle done. That really was something. That was a house that probably could have been blighted, condemned, and demolished, and it was fixed. Yeah. More than fixed. Like, beautifully fixed. Like, brand new. That is amazing. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
I mean, I do have a comment. I met with Mr. Crenshaw and his daughter and son last week for lunch, and he shared these projects. And, you know, when we talk about preservation, this is preservation at the grassroots level, saving a home that you know, it isn't necessarily architecturally remarkable like 6th Street, but it is part of a community, a historic community, right? And it takes that building, it saves it, and makes it vital to the community again. And then plus, we've heard so many times from different people that finding somebody to do the work is hard to do in Erie. So I think programs like this are beneficial, right? It's a type of way that allows preservation to progress and be successful in working class communities. And I'm really excited about these types of things.
Mm-hmm.
Are any of their houses in a potential historic district for the local historic district ordinance?
It's possible. We haven't really looked at that right now, but it's possible that they could be, yes. We no longer have that guideline in the grant guidelines. It doesn't have to be part of a local designation.
Oh, okay, okay.
Are those mostly old Baldwin houses or Atlas houses?
Well, the particular house that you saw on 33rd Street, that was an old Baldwin house, and it was brick. Initially, it did have some foundation problems, and we excavated and relayed some walls. Now, one of the things that I would say, I'm taking out of Mr. Hagan's playbook, where you literally can pick a house up, turn it around, replace it, rebuild the foundation, and have that house with historical value, especially preservation done to it. We're not looking to pick up, and for the price range which we're trying to work in, something to that extent would be probably outside affordability, but literally to jack a house up and relay a block basement wall and then set it back down and then do the plumbing and electric. I think what a lot of people hasn't recognized is the amount of lumber and lumber's cost today to take an existing dwelling and say, I'm gonna recycle the 2x4s, the 2x6s, and all of the lumber. If it's a brick house, then a brick house is probably over $200 a square foot. So if you take an existing house and take the square footage at 1,600 square feet at $200 a square foot, you're talking $320,000 for that house you just saw today to replace it. We rebuilt it, kept it on the market for less than half of that. So here again, if you take the existing stock, dilapidated stock that we have, renovate it, it does become affordability and what is affordable and what is not. But if you leverage your home dollars, your CDBG dollars, your redevelopment, preservation, renovation, lead-based dollars, if you leverage all of those and you make that available to individuals that's low to mod income, you can make home ownership today. We did a project called Zoe Metals, 25 homes. We built brand new, development cost was $140,000. We wrote, here in the city of Erie, we wrote those units down to $70,000 and $80,000. This is on the books. We have the restrictive covenant. We've already done this. The city of Erie was part of it. They gave us home dollars. The DCED gave us DCED dollars, Act 127, and the DCE dollars were for people below 50% of medium income. We sold 8 houses, brand new, that were to individuals below 50% of medium income. So if you look at what we're doing and what we've already done, and together, if we can come together and unify and work as a developer, builder, training program, and the city of Erie, we can improve a lot of people's households and make it affordable. Because building a $150,000 house, for example, with no additional funding, it's not affordable to a low to mod income person today. So that's pretty much where we are. We've been doing this. I really appreciate the fact that as it was stated, we had lunch, we talked a little bit, and I said this is God sent. When I looked at the fact that we're addressing houses over 50 years old, and this is part of the committee and what we want to look at. Well, most of the houses in Erie are over 50 years old. So if we take those dollars and apply them to, as I stated, other dollars, we can really make a difference in our community. I thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, I was just going to make a quick statement.
Okay.
I know I toured the house with you a couple of years ago. It was great to be invited to see the activity there. But I think that it's all positives. You know, you're talking about training. You're talking about trying to save houses, and of course, it's much less expensive to renovate a house than to tear it down and build new. Plus, the trick is try to get to them before they get too far gone. You know, there's an extent where, okay, it's it, and I know you had that question about when that point is, so that's important too, is getting to it before it gets too far gone. Definitely we need more construction workers. You know, every time we talk to any contractor, there's no one who's saying, you know, we have all we need, we don't need anyone. It's always a question as to what contractor is not busy these days. Have you talked to other contractors, kind of let them know about this is going on, or unions or anything like that?
Yes, we've spoke with the local trade unions, operators, laborers, electricians, sheet metal workers. Ultimately, the entire industry is hurting for manpower. So one of the things that we're hoping to do, as in prepare that next generation. So as we do this, anybody that doesn't work the residential side of this, but shows that they have a skill level and they want to pursue it, I think all of the trades have said they'd love to have individuals, especially minorities, come and make applications and enter their apprenticeship programs. So yes, I think they're good with the idea. We've actually partnered as well with GCAT to the point of getting some starter funds to help actually cover this initial startup. So between them, we've talked to all of the local community leaders to say, or not all, but the majority to say, what do you think? And everybody says this is a positive thing. So I think everybody wants to be a part of it, and we want them to be a part of it. It's just a matter of, this is the initial state, how do we go forward? And other contractors, all of the contractors that I've talked to that have worked with us, the individuals you saw in there, he says, if you give me somebody, Dawn, to help train, I will help train them. As you saw one of the individuals that was doing the brickwork, at the end of the day, there are a lot of people that are over 55 years of age, I'll say, that love to be able to leave a trait behind them. Teach them how to do brickwork, teach them how to do concrete work, teach them how to do anything and everything that they can do as a start, even if it's a sidewalk. We teach them how to pour concrete. My plumbers have said, hey, if you have an individual, he goes down, he gets his apprenticeship card, and he wants to learn how to do plumbing, we'll teach him, Dawn. The electricians, if he goes and gets the proper paperwork and wants to do electrical, we'll teach him. So forth and so on. So everybody is, I haven't heard anybody say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to be a part of it. Really, everybody has said that they welcome it. We need it.
This is great. Thank you again for coming and presenting to us. Not only is this just a really interesting and exciting community and neighborhood preservation effort, it's exciting to see a new opportunity for some of our youth. An opportunity to learn a trade or trades, multiple trades, where yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that there are a lot of folks that are hitting that point where they're maybe 10 years or less away from retirement. And that's kind of a scary thought. We definitely need, there's a need, let me put it that way, for more trained folks in the building industry. So thank you for what you're doing.
The other part of this, not to cut you off, that we're also doing, and I've talked to some individuals about, from a reentry standpoint, when a person comes out of being incarcerated and they've been taught some skills while they were there, but the question is, what are they going to do so that they don't go back in? And if you don't have employment, and to go out and to be able to work on a house, all you got to have is some strong arms and hands and a desire and will to do it. So now, if a person can come out of being incarcerated, go into this construction field, start fixing up houses, and at the point he's gainfully employed, that now he doesn't go back, there are individuals that have said this is a good idea, even from that standpoint on how can we make a difference and what can we do to make sure that individuals aren't re-entering, because it's a $50,000 a year cost for a person re-entering into that system, that if they've gotten out, let's keep them out. So there's another thing that we open up opportunities for any individuals that if they have felonies or they have track records of have made mistakes in their lives, we will give you a second chance to come out and work with your hands. So that's something else that we've done and are doing. Alrighty, well, I thank you again for your time. Is there any other questions? Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sonny.
Okay, we'll move on to the old business portion of our meeting. And I'm guessing, Chris, a lot of this will be duplicate of your report.
Yeah.
So what we can do is, if we cover your report content in the old business. When we get to the new business portion, if there's anything in your report that we haven't already covered, please feel free to cover it. But
That works perfectly.
if we cover it in old business, just mention, listen, we've already covered it, so this will take the place of what I was going to mention in my report. Does that sound okay to you?
That sounds perfectly fine. I was going to mention something similar, so that works.
So, update on the historic preservation plan.
All right, so the plan is proceeding as scheduled. We do have our next big project, our next big date is actually next Monday and Tuesday. That is when we have 3 public meetings scheduled. And those will be on the 12th. We have one at 7 p.m. That will be at New Life and Spirit Revival Center, which is Bishop Jones's church, which is historically St. Mary's on East 9th Street. That'll be at 7 o'clock. They were very excited to host us, and so we're excited to be in that community and in that location. And then on Tuesday at 1, Mark has graciously allowed us to use PACA at 1 p.m. for a public meeting, which I think will be a great time to kind of see PACA and introduce people to some of the projects if they haven't seen it. Great preservation effort there. And then at 7 p.m. that same night will be at the Cathedral of St. Paul. Each of these meetings will be very similar. They're not necessarily just going to be people sitting and listening. It's going to be more interactive meetings. So I'll be giving just a little short presentation kind of regarding some of the things, something similar to what Mr. Crenshaw is doing, or some other ideas, some things some success stories in Erie. And then there'll be several interactive exhibits. I want to say 12 to 13 interactive exhibits that will be set up that will give the attendees an opportunity to kind of see what preservation could look like in Erie, and also give them an opportunity to address questions, concerns, support, or whatever, or give ideas for what preservation could look like. We've sent out meeting invitations. We've kind of done social media blasts. We'll continue to do those throughout this week. Our community partners have done a great job of kind of forwarding those messages on. So I think we're going to have some good attendance. Tomorrow, I will be on the Joel Natale show doing another interview talking about the plan and probably the grant funding a little bit. So we'll get the word out that way. And then Wednesday, Mark and I are going to be canvassing State Street and Federal Hill area in the commercial districts to pass out some information as well and invite people to the meetings. So we're doing pretty good work there. Excited about what's happening. We're getting some good feedback, and I think we'll have some decent attendance. The mayor will also be attending those meetings and making an introduction at each of those meetings. So we're really glad that he's going to be able to do that. And then the next step will just be kind of waiting on those first drafts. The state of the city report on preservation will be the next step after they have some of the initial meetings. I'm not sure if we'll have additional meetings during this time or not. We haven't gotten that far yet, but it's possible.
Excellent. Are there any questions from the commissioners?
No, it's just is that the one at Cathedral of St. Paul also on the 13th? You said at 7 p.m.
Yes, that'll be Thursday. On the 13th at 7.
It's 1 o'clock at PACA and 7 p.m. at the Cathedral of St. Paul.
That is correct. And then we also have the one at 7 p.m. It's at the Old St. Mary's Church on East 9th Street on the 12th.
Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. This sounds really great. I'm guessing also that the city has issued a press release with these dates and/or
I don't know.
We'll be using print media as well. Is that?
We've not been able to do print media yet because of costs, but we can. Okay. We have been able to do the social media. I know the city has shared it on her social media page. Community groups have also shared the media or the events that we've created on the Facebook pages. So we're getting some interest that way. We did email invites, and we've had those spread around. Several people have spread those out through the community. So we're doing a pretty good job, and I think doing the canvassing, especially in the business districts, will help immensely.
Excellent. Okay. Not that I want to harp on this. Is the intent to do a press release at some point, or some type of media release?
The media release tomorrow's radio show, because of the cost, we don't have to pay for that. We don't have anything in the budget right now to do any of the print releases at the moment.
No, Chris, I'm not talking about a paid ad. I'm talking about doing a press release.
Yes, we are. Yes, there will be a press release. Yes. Sorry, I got confused there for a minute.
Okay. Can you? That's okay. Can you share with us when the press release will go to the media?
Should be late this week is when it should be out. I don't have an exact date yet, but I'll check up with it tomorrow and get that out.
That's okay. I just, that too is everything else is important, right? All of those other steps are important, making sure that an actual media or press release is sent to our print media friends, our radio media friends, our TV media friends. That too is an important step. Sure. So I just wanted to make sure that was part of the promotional strategy.
Chris, can I ask a question? Could I know I mentioned this earlier? Could there be like either an op-ed? Because I know there's been so much written about this report or the preservation plan. Could someone from Lakota or you maybe do a little op-ed?
Yeah, we certainly could. I mean, we did the thing.
Again, that's going to capture everybody, but it kind of explain the purpose, so maybe people can pass it on.
Yeah, I think it's good to do that. I think I know there'll be more public meetings after this is done. So I think it'll be good to do that and capture that. We could certainly do that. I haven't thought of doing an op-ed for this particular project, but it's certainly something we can do. Yeah, absolutely. And I can work with Lakota to do that as well.
Okay, awesome. Do we want to roll on? Do we want to move on to the rollout of the ARPA funded grant program?
Yes. So I met with Aaron Snippert last week, just going over some next steps. The grant guidelines have been approved. They've been accepted by the Redevelopment Authority. So we're in a good place. We are working together, and we hope to do an actual official press statement December 15th during the Mayor's Weekly News Conference to kind of outline the grant program, introduce it, and I'll be doing that along with Aaron Snippert. And then hopefully we should be able to start accepting applications after that. And so hopefully, potentially by January, will be kind of soon with the holidays, but I would expect by our February meeting, we should have applications to review for that grant program.
Okay. Would you be willing to keep the commissioners aware of any of the public events, or I should say announcement events that are going to be scheduled?
I'll make sure I'll reach out to Aaron again tomorrow and see if we've got that confirmed for the 15th. And then as soon as I know for sure, I'll send that out because we would like to have as much participation as possible. But I believe it'll be the 15th is when we make that official announcement.
Okay. And I hate to go backwards, but I just wanted to double check. I'm assuming the answer is yes, but again, just double checking. The invitations for the December 12th and 13th for the Historic Preservation Plan public meetings, those specifically went to the steering committee as well, right?
Steering committee, the commission, I think there was 123 invitees for those particular meetings, and we've gotten pretty large percentage of acceptance for those meetings. The meeting at PACA seems to be the one that's gaining the most attention right now. So.
I'll talk about where you want to do that. We can do that in the stone room down on the first floor.
Okay.
We can do it upstairs,
Sure.
and, where there's more microphones and media, like, depends on where you want it.
Okay, perfect. They really are requesting just space and tables to do their exhibits,
Okay.
more than anything.
Okay, sorry for the backtrack. I
No
just
worries.
wanted to make sure that the steering committee
Sure.
was actively engaged in the meetings as well. Excellent. So how about we move on then to the designation of the mayor building?
Yeah, so right now that was approved by the Planning Commission and forwarded on to City Council. It's in the hands of City Council right now. I don't yet have a date on when City Council will consider that. I don't know if Liz can update on that.
I know that we had communicated back and forth with the solicitor. We just need to have a resolution. So I'm not sure if we've got it on for this meeting or if it'll be on for the 21st. We just want to make sure we get it the right way since this will be the first time.
Okay.
So
When's what's the meeting before the 21st?
we have a meeting Wednesday at 9 and
Okay.
then we meet again on the 21st. So.
Okay.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Yes, please do. Please do. And once she lets me know, then I'll let everybody know if that's going to be heard this Wednesday or if it'll be the 21st. But that's all we're waiting on. And then once that has been approved, then we'll create a kind of a media event. Since it's our first, I think it's very important to get that out and make it a very public event.
I'd like to thank Jason for his advocacy during the Planning Commission meeting. There was a moment there where I thought that perhaps the Planning Commission may not actually vote on the nomination at that particular meeting, and Jason did an amazing job as the liaison for the Planning Commission with the HRC. And so thank you, Jason, for speaking up and advocating on behalf of that nomination.
Serve my purpose.
Well, it is still appreciated. Excellent. So, Chris, is there anything that was, we had some email correspondence today regarding commissioners' terms and the fact that we need to set aside time at the January meeting to be able to vote for our officers.
Yes.
But is there anything else that you had included in your planner report that we haven't yet covered?
Not really, just kind of vaguely. I've had the opportunity to meet with several kind of community and business leaders over the past few weeks, really with the, when we did the stakeholder meetings with the Lakota group a few weeks ago. I was able to make a lot of connections there, and I've reached out to a lot of people to kind of build on those discussions, including Mr. Crenshaw and some others. And we're really starting to gain some momentum in what we're trying to do. People are understanding better what we're trying to do, and that's gaining us some real advocates for the plan, for the program, and I think that'll be really beneficial as we get the plan put together, as we get it finalized. I think that'll really help implement the plan as we build those relationships. So that's what I've been doing when I'm not working on the plan or some of these other things. I do want to update real quick because this came about 3:30, well, about 3 o'clock this afternoon. We are still waiting to hear about the CLG grant. We have not yet heard. I was in touch with Bill Callahan earlier. The state is woefully behind on this program right now, and that includes the documents that we need to close out the 2021 grant. So the documents we need to close out the 2021 CLG grant, as well as waiting to hear about being awarded the 2022 CLG grant, are very far behind. And as Bill said, he is sending increasingly terse messages to Harrisburg to kind of push for this. So he's hoping maybe by Christmas that we'll have all that information, paperwork and announcements and all that. So we're waiting on that because that's our next project, is partially funded by that grant. And so we are just kind of slowly waiting on that. Bill Callahan will also be here for one of the meetings next week as well. So, but that's the only other thing.
Excellent. Has he told you which?
He did, but I'd have to look at my email to see which one he's specifically going to attend. I want to say it might be the one at PACA.
Okay. And just for clarification, the 2021 grant is the CLG grant that we used to fund
My position.
a portion of your position, correct?
Yes.
And then the 2022 grant is the one that was submitted to request funding for the survey.
For the survey, yes. We have the Keystone grant for the survey. We're just waiting on the CLG grant. If we don't get the CLG grant or have word of the CLG grant, we may have to look at staggering the project in certain phases, and different than the way we had planned it, to kind of do it a bigger project. We may have to do it smaller, and which is fine. We just have to work on how that's going to look.
We probably should have, or should begin conversations either this month or into January, if the city is going to again apply for a Keystone Historic Preservation Grant.
Yes.
During the March 1st, for the March 1st, 2023 cycle.
Yes, we absolutely need to talk about that. We could apply again for funds to continue a survey if we're still not hearing anything about a CLG grant. But that includes, those discussions need to be about both the Keystone and the CLG grants. Since the CLG grant application period is about the same time as the Keystone. So we'll need to talk about those projects and kind of come to an idea of what we would like to approach. And then I'll be working this month on kind of a work plan for this year. We had one for last year we've done pretty well with, but we need to look at creating a new one for next year for 2023.
It'd be interesting to see from the Lakota group what information might be available to inform those applications. I mean, you know as well as I do that we can pull those applications together pretty quickly. In probably a week's worth of time, we could do that. It'll be interesting to see what type of product from the historic preservation planning process might be available to us to help inform what our recommendation and or priority projects would be for both of those grant programs.
Absolutely.
So the back and forth that Chris and I had today was specific to terms as commissioners. So per the bylaws, the Historic Review Commission bylaws, at our January meeting, we will need to vote on our officers for the 2023 year. And originally, when the Historic Review Commission was created, one commissioner was established with a one-year term, two were established with two-year terms, and then two had three-year terms. And the reason those were staggered is so that, should commissioners need to be replaced, there was a staggering of terms so that not everyone disappeared at the same time. I don't know, Chris, were you able to find documentation of the commissioner's terms?
I have not.
And it's okay if you didn't.
Yeah,
I'm just asking.
I haven't, and I suspect it's somewhere in Kathy's old files that I don't know where she put it. And David is out for a conference for the next couple days, but I'm going to reach out. It's possible that the mayor's office might have some information on that as well, and so I'll reach out to them and see if they have that list of who was staggered and for what terms. I know last year Jeff was our one-year appointee and he was reappointed, I think, to a full, was it 3-year term? And so
yes.
I suspect that the mayor's office does have that information as well. So I'll just reach out to them tomorrow.
Excellent. Sounds really good. Other questions, concerns? Any additional items to note for today's meeting? Hearing none, can will someone want to make a motion for adjournment?
I motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Excellent. All in favor, please signify by aye.
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 Fantastic. Great meeting, guys.
All right, thank you.
Great presentation.